In 2024, adventure bikes will offer a variety of options, with manufacturers filing in the adventure and dual sport categories. These bikes should have characteristics suitable for both off-road and on-road exploration, such as appropriate suspension and tires. The 2024 Kawasaki Versys X300 ABS comes with a 6-speed gearbox, an assist and slipper clutch, a 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear wheel, a telescopic front fork with 5.1 inches of travel and a uni-track swingarm and rear shock setup offering 5-way preload adjustability. Rear travel is 5.8 inches. ABS is present at both ends, and the braking system consists of a single 290mm disc up front and a 220mm disc in the rear. The 2024 BMW G310 GS comes with adjustable levers, has a ride-by-wire throttle, a 6-speed gearbox, an inverted 41mm front fork, a swingarm and rear shock setup with preload adjustability, cast aluminum 19-inch front and 17-inch rear wheels, and suspension travel of 7.1 inches both front and rear. For brakes, the 2024 G310 GS gets a radially mounted 4-piston fixed caliper up front with a 300mm brake disc, as well as a single-piston floating caliper in the rear with a 241mm brake disc. The 2024 KTM 390 Adventure comes with a 19-inch front and a 17-inch cast wheel with tube tires, WP Apex suspension with rebound and compression adjustability, ride modes, including off-road mode, a bolt-on steel subframe, 2-channel ABS, and a 320mm brake disc up front and a 280mm brake disc in the rear. The Cove 450 Rally is built with competition in mind, as should probably be evident from the massive 8-gallon, 3-part fuel tank. It has a 49mm fully adjustable U and front fork and monoshock setup, which the company says offers a full 12 inches of suspension travel on the standard model. Switchable ABS and LED lighting come standard. The 2024 CF Moto 450 MT is one of the more mysterious bikes on our list at the time of writing. Promotional photos of it were leaked shortly before EICMA 2023, and the bike was then formally introduced to the world at EICMA 2023. Since it's now the beginning of December and EICMA was about a month ago, full details haven't yet been made available. We look forward to learning more once they are. The 2024 Royal Enfield Himalayan is a completely new bike, redesigned from the ground up. New engine, new chassis, new everything. The Sherpa 450 engine is liquid-cooled, and this is the first ride-by-wire bike in Enfield's lineup. 4 rider modes, switchable ABS, a new TFT Tripper navigation pod with a clean, bright screen, and Bluetooth connectivity are just the start. It comes with 21-inch front and 17-inch spoked rear wheels and a 43mm upside-down cartridge-type front fork and rear monoshock offering 200mm, about 7.9 inches, of travel. Brakes consist of a 2-piston by Brie caliper and a 320mm brake disc up front, and a single piston caliper and a 270mm disc in the rear. The 2024 Honda NX500 is a renamed, restyled CB500X, resurrecting the NX badge in honor of the NX650 Dominator. It has a 6-speed gearbox, assist and slipper clutch, 41mm upside-down Showa SFFBP front fork, ProLink monoshock with 5-way adjustability in the rear, and 19-inch front and 17-inch rear cast aluminum wheels. For brakes, it gets 2 Nissin axial mount front 2-piston calipers and a pair of 296mm brake discs, along with a single Nissin 1-piston caliper and a 240mm disc in the rear. A 5-inch TFT display comes standard, along with Honda RoadSync smartphone connectivity. The 2024 Benelli TRK 502X includes a 50mm upside-down front fork and a rear swingarm and shock setup offering preload, rebound, and compression adjustability. Front suspension travel is 140mm, about 5.5 inches, and rear travel is 65mm, about 2.5 inches. It rolls on a 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear set of spoked wheels. brakes consist of a pair of two-piston floating front calipers with 320 mm brake discs up front, and a single one-piston floating caliper in the rear with a 260 mm disc. ABS is present at both ends. Backlit switchgear comes standard, which is nice to have when it gets dark out. The 2024 Suzuki V-Strom 650 comes with a telescopic front fork and a link-type rear shock. It rides on a 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear cast wheel if you choose the base model, or you can pay a little more for the V-Strom 650 XT or XT Adventure if you want spoked wheels and/or hardside cases already installed. For brakes, you'll find a pair of Tokaco 2-piston calipers and discs up front, and a single Nissin 1-piston caliper and disc in the rear. ABS come standard at both ends. The V-Strom 650 lineup also comes with traction control, Suzuki Easy Start, low RPM assist, and a multi-function display with adjustable brightness as standard. The 2024 Moto Morini X Cape 650 gets LED lighting all around, 2 USB ports, adjustable hand levers, Bluetooth connectivity, backlit switchgear, and a 7-inch TFT dash with day and night modes. Suspension-wise, you'll find a 50 mm Marzocchi upside-down front fork and a rear KYB shock, both with adjustability. Suspension travel is 6.9 inches up front and 6.5 inches in the rear. Wheels are 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear Accurant tubeless spoked units wrapped in Pirelli rubber. Brakes are by Brembo, with a dual caliper setup up front and a single caliper setup in the rear. Bosch ABS is also standard. It also comes with a 3-year, unlimited mileage warranty in the US. Warranties may vary by market internationally. The 2024 Kawasaki Versys 650 Lieutenant ABS has a 41 mm telescopic front fork with preload and rebound adjustability, along with a single rear laydown shock with preload adjustability. Suspension travel is 5.9 inches up front and 5.7 inches in the rear. It rolls on a pair of 17-inch alloy wheels. Brakes consist of a dual 2-piston front caliper setup with 300 mm pedal-style rotors up front, and a single 1-piston caliper and a 250 mm pedal-style disc in the rear. ABS and traction control come standard, as does smartphone connectivity. The bike also comes with a pair of color-matched hard saddlebags that use the Kawasaki quick-release mounting system for ease of use. Did we mention the handguards? You get those, too. The 2024 Kawasaki KLR 650 Adventure ABS has a 41 mm telescopic front fork and a uni-track rear shock with preload and rebound adjustability. Suspension travel is 7.9 inches up front and 8.0 inches in the rear. It rolls on a 21-inch front and a 17-inch rear spoked wheel. Brakes consist of a single 2-piston caliper and a 300 mm disc up front and a single 1-piston caliper and a 240 mm disc in the rear. ABS is present at both ends, as you'd probably guess from the model designation. It comes with a set of hard cases and factory-installed fog lamps. If you're the kind of person who appreciates that the only thing listed under technology on the official spec sheet is ABS, then the KLR 650 might just be the bike for you. The 2024 Aprilia Touareg 660 has a fully adjustable Kayaba suspension consisting of a 43 mm inverted front fork offering 9.4 inches of travel, and a piggyback shock also offering 9.4 inches of travel. It rolls on a pair of spoked wheels and tubeless tires, with a 21-inch unit up front and an 18-inch unit in the rear. A set of Pirelli Scorpion Rally STR tires comes stock on the Touareg 660. Brakes are by Brembo, with a pair of 4-piston calipers up front with 300 mm discs and a single 1-piston caliper in the rear with a 260 mm disc. ABS is standard at both ends, and you also get braided stainless steel brake lines. It's Aprilia, so it also comes with the APRC electronics suite with 4 riding modes, traction control, cruise control, and more. The 2024 Triumph Tiger Sport 660 has a Showa suspension with 41 mm upside-down separate function front fork and a monoshock in the rear. Suspension travel is 150 mm, or 5.9 inches, at both ends. It rolls on a pair of 17-inch cast aluminum wheels wrapped in Michelin Road 5 tires. If you're planning to do much off-road exploration, you may want to fit a more dual sport-oriented tire. Brakes are by Nissin, and consist of a pair of 2-piston sliding calipers up front with 310 mm discs and a single 1-piston sliding caliper and a 255 mm disc in the rear. ABS is standard at both ends. It has ride-by-wire throttle, switchable traction control, 2 ride modes, a configurable TFT display, and LED lighting as standard. It's also the only triple on this list.